Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, if you were watching a couple days ago, we moved our new flock of layer chickens into one of our chicken tractors now that our broiler chickens have taken their trip to the freezer. And they've been living in here for the last few days, but this is just a real temporary thing for them. And today we're going to get started on making them something better.
Now, a few weeks ago, we took you guys along with us to our friend Lynn's house where we picked up the eggs that we incubated to hatch into our new layer flock, which is these guys. But while we were there, we toured her place and showed you a bunch of different ways to make easy, cost-effective chicken coops. And today we're going to make one of her designs so that these guys have a nice new coop to live in.
Now we do already have a flock of layer chickens that are free range. They go wherever they want on the farm. Eventually this flock will be free range as well, but we need a place for them to live while they grow up a little bit so that they're not so susceptible to predators. So this new coop that we're going to build I think is a great design. It's based on what we saw over at our friend Lynn's house. Let's get started. We're hoping to get this done hopefully today. We'll see. We've got some rain coming. We're going to work around the rain. So the coop that we're going to be building for these chicks is going to be 12 feet long and 7 feet wide. We're going to be building basically a hoop house type coop for them. We're going to be using cattle panels that will hoop up over, and then we'll be using some lumber to frame in the front and the back, and then we'll be using chicken wire over the entire thing along with some heavy duty vinyl. So it'll really be a pretty simple build, but it's not something that we've ever made before, so we're going to kind of figure it out as we go along. I've looked at the ones that Lynn has, and I've looked at some other ones online, so I have a pretty good idea of what we're going to do, but the way I build things is let's get started and figure it out as we go along. Let's get going. Alright, we're going to start by cutting these 8-foot pieces of 2x4 down to 7 feet. These are pressure treated. I'm using pressure treated along the bottom, but everything else will just be regular 2x4s. So we're going to cut these to 7 feet. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear that thunder or not, but it's getting close, so we're going to work fast. Alright, so we're going to cut these at 7 feet, and then we'll be ready to put together the basics of the base. Well, we just had to take about an hour-and-a-half break because we had a bad storm roll through, but now it's starting to clear back up. Everything is wet, but we're going to get back to work. I think this is the way it's going to be all day. It's going to clear up for a while, and we're probably going to get more rain. It's going to be on and off. So we're just going to keep working anyway. So I'm going to attach these 4 pieces of wood together for the base. I'm going to be using these like 5-inch deck screws to put these together. Later on we'll add some more bracing, but I don't want to do that until after we add the cattle panel so that we're not having to fight around the bracing. So for now we're just going to put these together like this. So the next step is going to be putting the actual hoops up with the cattle panels. We're just going to bring them over one at a time and create the hoops.
Past the point of no return, baby, on the summer night. A shot of love and a spark of love to breathe. The stars align and the month times night burn like a ground I leave. Are we leaving on the next train, baby? I do believe. Come on, let's ride this train. Come on, let's ride this train. 5, I don't hear it in my song. I'm gonna pull my weight, don't get me wrong. A brand new start and a whole new part, they are big old shoes to fill. I'll be there on that platform, babe, you know I will. Come on, let's ride this train.
Now that we have the first 2 cattle panels up, I'm just going to take some zip ties and zip tie them together. This isn't really necessary. The only reason I'm doing it is so we can get an accurate measurement for the back for the last cattle panel that we need to cut. Now after we get all of the hoops up, we'll be covering them in chicken wire, and that will really hold these together as well. Like I said, so you really probably wouldn't need to do this part, but I'm going to just to hold everything together while we're working.
Come on, let's ride this train. Now nothing is this rush of life, you'll never find its match. So you live to be a million years. All hearts are lost by default in the time of a single beat. We're believing on the next train, babe. So take your seat.
All right, we're going to cut 6 inches off of this last cattle panel, which just happens to be 1 row of squares here. We're going to cut that off all the way along, and then I think that should be good.
Come on, let's ride this train. Yeah, come on, let's ride this train. Oh, come on, let's ride this train. Oh, come on, let's ride this train. Let's ride this train now.
I'm going to go ahead and attach the cattle panel to the sides here. Now a lot of people will use what are called fencing staples, which are big staples that you can pound in, and those would probably work fine. Personally, I never have good luck with those. It seems like after just a few months they start to pull out. So what I like to use is this galvanized pipe hanger. It comes on a big roll and you can just cut pieces off to the size that you want. For these, I'm just going to cut off, a piece with 3 holes in it here, and then I can just screw those on, and I know that that will give me a nice strong hold. So I'm going to put one here. So I'm going to put one at each end and one in the middle on the horizontal pieces of wire, and then I'll go back and I'll put a few on the vertical as well, so it can't slide back to, front to back. Not that it really can anyway, because our frame is so tight, but it'll make me feel better just knowing that we have a lot of support on there. Now that those are attached, we're going to get busy starting to frame the front and the back. This will be, the door will be in the front, and there'll be a frame on the back just to hold everything nice and solid. So we're going to start by putting some 2x4s up here and figuring out how wide of a door we want. Alright, so now that we figured out where this is going to go, I'm going to just basically take my pencil and trace that line onto the board. And now we'll take it over to the saw. We'll cut at that angle. Now I'm not going to cut this little rounded, I'll just cut a straight angle there. And then we'll be able to attach this, and then we'll figure out where this one goes, and we'll move on from there. Alright, so I've got the second 2x4 cut. Let me show you what I did over on the first one, and we'll do the same thing over here. Basically, we've put it up in the right spot. I used the same wire hanger that I used on the bottom, and I put a piece around here and around here to hold that nicely to the cattle panel. Then we leveled it and attached it at the bottom, so that's a nice level board. So now we'll just do the same thing over here, and then we'll be ready to put some cross braces on this front. Alright, we have those uprights attached, and you can see it's already adding a lot more stability to the hoop. But this next step, I think, is really going to secure it up nicely. Basically what we're going to do now is we're going to take another piece of 2x4, and we're going to build a diagonal brace that will go kind of like this. And it'll attach down at the ground, and it'll attach to the inside of this 2x4. So basically I'll hold it where I want it, I'll trace the line here on the inside, then we'll go cut that, and we'll come back and we'll screw it together, and then that will add a lot of extra support, and we'll do that on both sides. So we need to just trace here and go cut it. Alright, the front section is done for now until we need to build the door. So we're going to basically recreate this entire thing on the back side now. I was contemplating only putting one pole on the back, one at the middle, and then the braces. But I really feel like this just really strengthened this up so nice that I think I'm going to do the same thing on the back. Even though it'll use a little bit more wood, I think it'll be worth it. So we're going to move on to that, and we're going to do this exact same thing on the back side of the coop. All right, we've got the front and the back finished. You can see, I mean, just how sturdy this is now. The only difference between the front and the back is that on the back, I put a board here in the center instead of up at the top. Obviously on the front, we need it at the top for the door. But here I put it in the center so that when we put this back will be completely covered in chicken wire. So this will be a good place to be able to staple the chicken wire to, and I'll just give it some more strength. So I'm just really impressed with how strong this thing is now that we have everything put together. We're gonna go start working on the door. We're hoping to get that finished up yet today before it looks like some more rain coming. Now for the door, we're going to be using these braces that we recycled off of an old gate that we took apart. It's basically got the hinge already welded to it, and you can just basically put some 2x4s on there and make a gate. So basically the hinge will go up like this so that the 2x4 will run here and here, and then we'll just be able to open it up. So they're actually kind of a neat thing. We're going to use them because we have them, and I think it'll make a nice sturdy door. Well, we got done with the entire frame of the building today. It is super exciting.
The door came together really well using these recycled hinges and these braces. We actually recycled some of the wood from our old gate too.
Yeah, it works really nice.
Yep.
It might be one of the best doors I've ever built.
It's really stable, you guys. I'm so surprised at how stable it is.
Yeah, we were worried that, you know, just building with the cattle panels, that it really wasn't going to end up being as sturdy as we would like, but this is really coming together well.
So the next steps after this on another day will be to put up the chicken wire over the entire thing. And then we're going to put some billboard material over it in order to give them protection from the weather.
Now, one thing I do have to tell you guys, that if you're the kind of person who needs everything to be perfect, this isn't the type of project for you. You know, nothing, because you're working with these cattle panels that just don't start off, you know, with a perfect hoop. You know, from there on, you got to adjust as you go. So if you're the kind of person who needs everything perfectly square and perfect angles and everything, you may want to find different plans to make, but if you're looking for a project that's fairly easy to make and not very expensive, this is definitely the way to go. As of right now, we've got about 5 or 5.5 hours into this, so really, you know, a decent day's work, but not a strenuous day's work by any means. And we probably have, you know, another few hours to go on it, but it's really coming together well, and we're really happy with it.
So you guys, if you're enjoying our videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you share our videos with all of your friends through social media. We would appreciate it, and that is what helps us the most. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.